talk about some core values. Do each of you know what your core values are?
Good.
Yeah. What are some key core values for you? And some of you may know these already. Some of you may want to write some down, right? Add to them, update your list. But let's go over here, Rob.
Courage, growth, and leadership. Everything I am, everything I do, everything I help people with revolve around those values. All the values that fit within them, but those are the three that are non-negotiable.
So that was courage, growth, and leadership. That's great. And we'll go to Chris and then Joel. Honesty and integrity. Those are good. Yeah. Joel.
Courage, justice, discipline.
Courage, discipline, and what was the other one?
Courage, justice, discipline.
Justice and wisdom. Good.
I know that if I always do what love mandates, I will always make the right decision.
Do what love mandates, and you'll always make the right decision. Explain that one a little bit for us.
Well, the way it came to me was I was working at a magazine publisher, and one of the editors was I was running the telemarketing. One of the editors said, "Joe, you're a good manager. If there's one thing that you always do, you know, if you just do this one thing, everything will work out right." And I said, "Well, I think God just made me a manager." But then as I was saying it, I thought, no. I said, I think if I always just do what love mandates, then I will always make the right decision. Because love will make me stay late and help somebody. Love will make me, find that 50 cents that's missing off somebody's paycheck. Or love will make me could I fire somebody.
Right.
So everything can come from that core.
Yeah. And that's a representation of who you are, right? Yeah, at your core.
Love is also why. What makes you why?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's your why. So good. Anyone else? Core values. Jean and then Martin.
Do the greatest
Do the greatest good for the most amount of people. It's great.
For me, trust, reputation, and advocating.
Trust, reputation, and advocating. Application or advocating?
Yeah.
Advocate. Oh, okay. Wonderful. Yeah. So around your core values, think about your family, right? Your community. Yeah. You talk a lot about balance. I talk about working from rest, not from stress, and going at a pace with God's grace. And we talked about representation of who you are. Anything else you want to add around core values?
I think it's just really important to always have them at the forefront of your life. So like every decision that you make directly impacts or correlates with them, because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want you to do a lot of things. And if you're realizing that it might seem like a good opportunity, but it just really doesn't blend with what you stand for, then take a little time to reassess.
Yeah, because what is that pulling you away from? Your family? You know, I had somebody tell me the other day, like, hey, I'm not going to go to that thing because I want to hang out with my dogs and my wife. Like, he's like, no, because if I say yes to that, then I say no to my family.
Yes.
Right? And so we want to be really clear about that. So look at your top 10 or however many you have on your list and put a check mark next to the people that align with your core values. Hopefully all of them, the people that are on your top 10 do. And if they're not, and it's a little bit more one-sided, like Genesis was saying, it wasn't mutually beneficial, then maybe we want to look at that a little bit more and see how can we make that more mutually beneficial, or maybe they're not in your top 10. Okay.
I wanted to say too about core values that I love that some of you had 2, some had 4, some had like different amounts. Like there's no perfect formula for this. This is for you, your own personal customized viewpoint on life, your own personal belief system. And that's what makes it special. That's what makes it about your story that you are creating and developing every single day. So it's a beautiful thing. And I want to say too that they can evolve a little bit too. As you get older, I know for myself, family has always been important, but ever since I've had kids, it's just escalated dramatically, because that is the core foundation of what I base every decision on, spending quality time with my family. So I think it's really important for us to just make sure that when sometimes our back's up against the wall or we're at a crossroad, we're making that really hard decision, just really lean into those and ask yourself, how does it feel if I were to say yes? How does it feel if I were to say no? And a lot of the time, the answer will really present itself very strongly.
Yeah. I think this goes back to what we were talking about with knowing your authentic self.
Yeah.
What do you stand for? Who are you? What is your identity rooted in? Right?
Mhm.
That is something that you really want to take a look at, because a lot of times we're told to check your personal life at the door when it's a business function.
Mhm.
Right? I know people have told me like, keep the faith part out of it. And I'm like, okay, so you want to keep Jesus in the car with the windows rolled up? Okay. I mean, he'll be fine, y'all. But like, he's with me everywhere, right? And I'm with him. And so it's a part of who you are. Now, am I going to be speaking Christianese on a stage where the audience is mixed? Not Christianese, but I still talk about Jesus, right, Joel? I share my story, my testimony, right? Nobody can take your story away from you.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm not projecting it onto anybody else. I always say, hey, I'm not here to convince, convert, or condemn, but I don't stop from sharing my story, right? And sharing truth. And so, what is truth for you? What does that look like? What is the truth? And how do we carry that into everything that we do?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. What else? So look at your list. Are your connections mutually energizing? Are they aligned?
Mhm.
Are you looking maybe to expand your network, to expand your reach?
How many of you feel like your list completely aligns with you?
Yeah. Good. That's really good.
Kind of.
Was it always that way for you, Joe? Why am I asking a pastor over here? Hold on a second.
We use, well, I would say, if you talk about your inner circle, obviously, at some point, as you become more of who you are and created to be, then others will reject that, and you probably will reject them. And it's not necessarily a, hey, I'm cutting you off. It's just like they just disappear.
Yeah.
And I think that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's magnetic.
Right. It's a good word.
Yeah.
It's natural. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about
that.
expanding your network? Who here, like, what do you do to expand your network?
It's like the same thing now. You look for people who like share your or well when you want to go after that. So I mean, in being a relationship.
Yeah. Good. Joe?
Well, for me, I speak to a lot of people, and one thing that's the hardest to me is developing a lot of relationships, a lot of people, because all of us forget. Probably 10 on my list. I tell you a lot about them, but if it sees 10 after it, well, maybe, but there's got to be a system of which, how I remember that. I've been learning that, slowly, like, hi. But I think that, a lot of us are transaction. Well, in the beginning, we're transactional. We swap to sale. But really, what the business comes through is the no fish. When I get to know, I ask questions. But I have this client who Ohio. I have nothing in common with her. She's 10 years older than me. She is a builder. She's in the same field. Like, until I ask questions, a little, oh yeah, we both have a love for like hip hop. You know what? The Kiwi culture is a lot different. Right. Now we're like best friends, but we never see each other.
Yes. So you made some good points there. Number one, to go and ask questions and to see what kind of common denominator that there is, right? So that's how we go into other spaces and places and maybe even areas that you wouldn't normally go into.
Mm-hmm.
What about that one? Because sometimes we tend to stay connected to just what's comfortable.
Yeah.
We tend to stay within our own group. But are you being invited? Hint, hint, yes, you are. You're being invited to go into other spaces and places that maybe once you walk in, it lights up. It lights up because the darkness can't exist when there is light. And so, where are you being invited to go? And with who? You can bring someone, right? You can look at your network. You can expand out and say, oh, you know what? Here's a traditional area that maybe people are in that are doing business, but I don't really like what they're doing over there. But can you walk in and begin to shift atmospheres? Not let the atmosphere shift you. If you think you're going to walk in somewhere and the atmosphere is going to shift you, bring a friend. Don't go by yourself. Okay? Don't go by yourself over there. Genesis?
I was just going to say, we can get, as Jen said, very comfortable in situations. It might be that you've been in a networking group for a year and a half and it's just become very, very stale and you don't feel like you're growing anymore. It might be time for you to make a shift, to leave, to open yourself up to an opportunity to be a part of another group. That's the one conversation that keeps coming up again and again and again with the women that I've been working with. They have been talking about, well, I'm a part of 7 different networking groups, and they're spreading themselves so thin, they're not getting the kind of results that they need. And which completely makes sense, right? Because we only have so much time. You don't have the quality of interactions that you're able to have if you're a part of 2 networking groups. So it's really important to sit with yourself and ask yourself, what am I getting out of this and what am I providing value to? Yeah. Because if there's not a reciprocation for what you're putting into it, most of the time it's us giving of ourselves, not us receiving. And it's okay to receive. It's okay to receive and ask for business, ask for help, ask for support. And so we need to do that audit, and we need to do it often and really ask ourselves, how is this going to be most beneficial and impactful?
Yeah, that was a key word there, doing the audit, right? Really reflecting and looking at some of these things. Again, your top 10 connections, who in your network truly gets you, right? In your mission, understands your core values. Let's see here. Are your connections and conversations mutually aligned, right? Are they energizing, like Genesis had said before? And sometimes we just don't know what we don't know.